What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Smackdown was a triple threat of a show. It was supposed to be its own independent Smackdown from the Thunderdome. It was supposed to be a follow-up to SummerSlam, all at the same time trying to be the go-home show for an unnecessary PayBack pay-per-view this Sunday. And they gave us a show that was absolute garbage, which is what we are completely used to. But what we are not used to was the little bit of a twist that they put on the end that might make things a little bit interesting, but I'm still not sure it's all going to work out. We are going to talk about all of that. Plus, I have figured out why these shows are so bad, and we are going to talk about it all right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Smackdown Review and Reaction Show. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
So Roman Reigns is a Paul Heyman guy. That little reveal at the very end just sent my brain into a tizzy. I don't even know really how I feel about it. There's part of me that thinks it's desperation. It's part of me that thinks it's just laziness because they can't come up with a decent story to figure out or to explain to us what the hell is going on with Roman Reigns. Don't make it interesting. Don't make it unique to him. Let's just make him Brock Lesnar on SmackDown. Let's give him an advocate so we can hear Paul Heyman talk about the big dog, Roman Reigns, and what's going to happen when Brock Lesnar gets back. Are we going to have a new two-man power trip and these guys are going to be running roughshod all over the WWE? That might actually be interesting. It might actually be okay. The one thing that needs to happen for that to be successful is you need to have a babyface to go up against these guys. SmackDown is a land without a babyface. Right now, the closest thing we have to babyface superstar is Big E, which I'm okay with, and Otis. Other than those two, who's the biggest babyface on SmackDown? I can't figure it out. Matt Riddle? Matt Riddle's being wasted with Constable King Dickhead Baron Corbin. The rest of the show, besides of the Paul Heyman review, was absolute dog shit. And part of the reason is Vince McMahon. Not just because he was there, but he showed us tonight something I think is very key. And now check this out. I think the reason the creative staff and the writing crew is having such a difficult time getting across what Vince McMahon wants is when Vince McMahon talks to these people, nobody can understand him. What the hell is going on with Vince McMahon's voice? Did you guys hear this guy tonight? Let me show you. This is what it's probably like in a creative meeting. Mr. McMahon, sir, what are we going to do tonight? For SmackDown, we only have 30 minutes left. Well, Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman, and then they're going to have a thrown through the door, and Adam Pearce, mailman. That's probably what a creative meeting sounds like. Given what we saw tonight on SmackDown, that's exactly what Vince McMahon sounds like. He was completely inaudible for about 90% of the things that he was saying on camera. This is a man that's known for being charismatic, for being able to deliver, at least in the capacity of a promo, but it's just very obvious to me that this man is past his prime. And he does not belong on television anymore. He does not belong as head of creative anymore because he can't even get his message across. And then I figured it out. That's why everything's so bad. Nobody knows what the old man is talking about. They only hear Roman Reigns, they hear Paul Heyman, and they go, well, we don't know what the hell he really wanted to do, so we'll have Roman Reigns in the back, we'll have him read the contract fully, and then we'll have a reveal with Paul Heyman at the end where he says all the same shit he says when he talks about Brock Lesnar and whatever. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking the real problem is. Communication is key. There's definitely a lack of it going on. Let's get back to this Roman Reigns situation. Roman Reigns showed up last week at SummerSlam. He wrecked everyone and leaves, right? And now we have a Universal Championship program featuring 3 heels. Now, the easy answer is to say, well, Bray Wyatt as The Fiend is going to be turned into the babyface in this scenario. They hinted at Alexa Bliss still being, some sort of a part of it as she's starting to lose her mind and braid her hair like The Fiend, and that's enough to convince Nikki Cross that Alexa Bliss is losing her mind. She put a braid in her hair. Oh my God! You have a braid in your hair, Alexa! Are you in love with The Fiend? How did she come up with that deduction? Anyway, Alexa Bliss is eventually going to be paired with this guy, probably to make it more palatable to us and to make it more of a babyface thing. Give him the girl. Give him the girlfriend. Braun Strowman's going to be the Jolly Green Giant in his new Sergeant Slaughter outfit, looking like what the hell was that faction? The Truth Commission? Looking like one of those idiots? What the hell is going on? I don't understand. We have 3 major heels going for the championship. You got no baby faces to go up against them, even when it comes to the end. So Roman Reigns is going to win this championship on Sunday, most likely, at this unnecessary pay-per-view. And one of the biggest problems, one of the biggest things wrong with SmackDown is simply the fact that they didn't have the frame of mind to give themselves some time before this pay-per-view. It's so important for them to get that belt back on Roman Reigns that they decided, we're not going to be patient with this. We're not going to develop a story. We're not going to get fans really invested even though they're sitting at home on the couch and not here in the arena. We're not going to give you guys story. We're just going to reveal Paul Heyman. We're going to drop the belt right onto Roman Reigns and then we'll be off to the races. When instead, if you would have had like at least 2 or 3 weeks more to build towards Payback, you could have fleshed this story out. You could have given us more reason. You didn't have to come out and give it all to us tonight. You could have gave us the little sneak peek at the end, have the alliance, and give us a reason to tune in next week to hear more of what the hell is this partnership really all about, which really doesn't make sense when you consider how much trash Paul Heyman has talked about Roman Reigns over the last 5 years while Brock Lesnar handed him his ass on multiple occasions. Why would Paul Heyman even want to be involved with the big dog? He can't beat Paul Heyman's best guy. What is he doing bringing him into the fold? It doesn't really make sense, but it leaves open an interesting window. I'm not happy about it. I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, Roman Reigns is a heel. Wrestling is saved. I'm not telling you it's a great idea. I'm telling you that it's different, and it's something we have to keep our eye on, because it definitely has the potential to be something worth watching. But honestly, does it really make sense to you? Does it seem like desperation to you? Does it seem like laziness on the WWE's part in the creative division? Of course it does. Because it's just so out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Vince McMahon mumbled it out with about 10 minutes left to go in the show. We still have to finish this Roman segment, boss. Paul Heyman. And how does AJ Styles feel about this? AJ Styles left Monday Night Raw to get away from Paul Heyman, who lied to his face about the status of the Good Brothers and stabbed AJ Styles in the back, so to speak. And AJ Styles was so mad he wanted to be moved to SmackDown to be away from Paul Heyman, and now Paul Heyman is the manager of the top guy on SmackDown. Poor AJ. Guy can't get a break. Speaking of AJ, the show started off tonight with AJ Styles and Jeff Hardy in the ring. Jeff Hardy was going to issue an open challenge because once again the WWE doesn't know how to do anything creative or different, so we're going to go back to the well. We're going to have another open challenge for the champion that has no challengers. And AJ Styles comes out. You assume he's going to answer this open challenge, but he has not been medically cleared by the doctors. So what the hell are you even doing out there? Oh, he wants to accuse Jeff Hardy of being a cheater. You used the knee brace on me. You're a cheater. You don't deserve that championship. And then we have this blow into a match with Shinsuke Nakamura because Jeff Hardy's like, well, listen, I was going to announce this open challenge and it was going to be open to everybody except you. So he had no intentions on giving AJ Styles a shot anyway, whether he was medically cleared or not. This made AJ Styles really pissed off. He pushed Jeff Hardy a little bit and then ended up sitting on commentary while Shinsuke Nakamura came out for an impromptu Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. Now this match was okay. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We've seen countless times already in the WWE. None of them really were the matches we thought we were going to get, and this was another one of them. You didn't expect them to go 15 minutes for the Intercontinental Championship, but it is what it is. And Jeff Hardy ends up beating Shinsuke Nakamura. He retains the championship. AJ Styles is pissed off about it, and so is Cesaro. Cesaro's now mad at Shinsuke Nakamura because he jumped on this while Cesaro went to get some champagne, and now there's like a little beef between the tag team champions. I don't understand it. And then this whole segment ends. Jeff Hardy's celebrating on the ramp. AJ Styles is in the ring, still pissed off. And Sami Zayn shows up out of nowhere, holding his Intercontinental Championship, claiming that he is the actual Intercontinental Champion. And this has potential as well. I would not shit on an AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn rivalry. Insert Shinsuke and Cesaro or any number of people in that scenario. Jeff Hardy specifically versus Sami Zayn is something we've not really seen before. And it has potential to be something good, but this is WWE we're talking about. They'll probably give them a 5-minute match. Sami Zayn will probably just lose. Jeff Hardy will remain the champion, and we'll be on the same old path we're normally on. The Firefly Funhouse showed up tonight. We had Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse. He's all happy and jolly. He's telling everybody, hey, look, we have the WWE Universal Championship. And then Adam Pearce, the mailman, who had to listen to mumble grumble Vince McMahon at the beginning of the show, tell him to dress up like a jerk-off mailman and get this contract signed. He shows up at the fire. Adam Pearce knows where the Firefly Funhouse is. If he knows where it is, why doesn't anybody else know where it is? Why did it take Braun Strowman 6 weeks to figure out where it was? He could have just asked Adam Pearce. Who's Adam Pearce, you're asking? He's some fucking executive. Some creative schmuck that has suddenly become an on-screen character and had more time on SmackDown tonight than most of the active roster. But this was Mumbles McMahon idea, so it must be some good shit, right? It was stupid. It was ridiculous. Bray Wyatt addresses his challengers, says he's happy that Roman Reigns is back, but that he's going to still win at PayBack. I don't understand anything that's going on. It's just so boring and blatantly ridiculous. Matt Riddle comes out. They follow this up. Matt Riddle's going to take on King Corbin. He's calling out Constable King Dickhead in a very underwhelming manner. His promo was very, very bad. Very bad. Corbin's music hits. Corbin comes out. He's walking down to the ring as slow as molasses, setting up the obvious ambush by Chad Gable, who's still being called Shorty G, who goes in there and gets squashed by Matt Riddle in minutes. He failed to collect on the King's bounty. Constable King Dickhead went to attack Matt Riddle at the end. Missed. Matt Riddle made him look like a fool. Baron Corbin runs out of the ring, and now we have a match for PayBack. Matt Riddle versus Constable King Dickhead. Another match you could add to that show that just makes me not give two shits about PayBack. It's bad enough I gotta see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler teaming up, the most unnecessary and useless tag team I have ever seen put together on WWE TV, to go up against Sasha and Bayley with I believe the sole purpose of this is just to get the tag team titles off of Sasha Banks, because the WWE for some reason has something against Sasha Banks, which I will never understand. She's one of the best in the ring. She's one of the best looking females. She's got charisma. She's got style. She's got skill. Why she's not at the top of the card? Why is she below Bayley in their eyes? Why is she below anybody else in their eyes? I'll never know. Hopefully that's not the case, because I do not want to see Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler win the Women's Tag Team Championships just to implode as a team. Because the most honest thing that was uttered tonight on SmackDown in the 2 hours worth of terrible promos is Shayna Baszler on camera telling everybody that she doesn't like Nia Jax and that she sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. And you know that. And I think the world knows that. So why is this even happening? It was just ridiculous. I hated everything that happened tonight. We seen Speaking of the girls, we've seen Sasha and Bayley showing up backstage as Big E and Heavy Machinery are getting ready for a 6-man main event because, when you don't know what to do with Big E, you just put him with the New Day. But since you can't have the New Day because Xavier Woods is still out and Kofi Kingston is still out, we're just going to take 2 fat white dudes that like to jerk around and gyrate and eat ham and steaks and are standing in the back with a box of dicks. And we're going to put them next to the guy that flips around the pancakes and rides unicorns and blows horns. This is ridiculous booking for a guy that has future world champion written all over his face. Now, the only way any of this works is if they start taking Big E a little bit seriously and build him up week after week, simultaneously as Roman Reigns takes his place as the Universal Champion in his new heel persona, only to lose to Big E possibly by next year's WrestleMania. Long-term booking, it'll be great. You have Big E even maybe win the Royal Rumble this year and choose Roman Reigns and be finally the first man all year that could take out this new and improved big dog from Paul Heyman. That's the only way any of this worked. But Bayley was taking some shots at Big E and at Heavy Machinery, and inadvertently, those shots were kind of directed as well as at Sasha Banks, as some people are only good enough to be tag team champions. Then she started honking people's nose and stuff. A little bit ridiculous, but at the same time it served a purpose. And it looked like it was pissing off Sasha Banks, but then she wants to say that her and Bayley are still best friends and they're doing this hot, cold bullshit with the rivalry. And it's just so played and so overdone and just dragging on for so long that I don't care. I wish this match at PayBack wasn't scheduled so that they could effectively start the Sasha Bayley dissolving of that team and have Sasha and Bayley's feud on SmackDown and just get to it already. We don't need this pit stop with them fighting 2 girls that can't even get along themselves. And now these 2 girls are going to fight for a tag team title match. Talk about divisions being a mess. The women's division in singular capacity is a mess. The tag team division is almost non-existent, and the same can be said for the men. The male tag team division is just absolutely hit rock bottom. You got Shinsuke and Cesaro as the champions. Their only challengers, Heavy Machinery, are not being really used in the right way, and they're being sidetracked by a Lucha House Party split up. When you need tag teams more than you need anything else, you look to be breaking up and making tension in all of the tag teams on the roster. Shinsuke and Cesaro, the Lucha House Party, Miz and Morrison. There's just tension everywhere when it comes to the tag team division, and maybe that's because they all know it sucks. As bad as a suck down. Oh my God, what a terrible show. Adam Pearce, the stupid mailman, showing up in the back. He's knocking on Roman Reigns' door. And instead of him getting into Roman Reigns' locker room, getting him to sign the contract after he successfully got Bray Wyatt to sign earlier, he gets to walk off and we get to see an interview with Constable King Dickhead, because once a night is never enough for King Corbin, and we have to hear him talking trash about he's going to have this match with Matt Riddle and he's going to break every one of his stupid little toes. Good for you. I like to see you try. Actually, I don't want to see you try. I wish it wasn't even happening. Sasha and Bayley did their little promo in the ring because, God forbid, there's a show that goes by that we don't have to see a Sasha and Bayley promo, and this was followed up by Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax interrupting them on the screen and making absolute fools of themselves because they can't deliver a promo. And this isn't really the athlete's fault. This isn't really the girl's fault. The problem is they were handed this piece of paper that told them what to say probably 10 minutes before showtime. And they can't memorize it in time, so they forget their lines, they flub their lines, and it's just terrible. Nobody wants this match to be happening, especially not Sasha and Bayley, especially not the fans. Nobody cares. Nobody's invested. And why would you be? There's no story here. The actual story is, can Shayna and Nia coexist? If that is greater than are they going to actually win the championships, then you're doing something wrong. Especially when it involves Nia Stax. Because nobody cares about that. In the back, Adam Pearce, again, he's hunting down Braun Strowman, but he finds Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak is all pissed off at Braun Strowman for what he has done to him in previous weeks. So Strowman walks over, and he's all pissed off. He sees Adam Pearce. Drew Gulak hit him with a chair. And then he asked for his signature. Braun Strowman talked about Roman Reigns, then promised he'd sign the contract after he beats up Drew Gulak in the ring. Here's where we see Cesaro confronting Nakamura, being all pissed off that he accepted the challenge without telling him. And then Sami Zayn comes in. Sami Zayn wants a happy reunited song, reunited, and it feels like shit because nobody cares. Shinsuke didn't care. Cesaro didn't care. They apparently don't want anything to do with Sami Zayn. They're pissed off that he's been gone for 4 months, and apparently he hasn't even phoned them once. So these guys want nothing to do with their former running buddy, and I don't see why they would. They've been just fine without him. It was a terrible trio to begin with. It didn't really do anything. Sami Zayn was overly excited, but then got shut down, and they asked him to leave because they wanted to finish talking about their personal situation. Sami Zayn left unhappily. Braun Strowman squashed Drew Gulak in little to no time. Then we have Kalisto being defeated by Cesaro. He was trying to show his running buddy, I think it was Lince Dorado, how it's done because he lost last week and Kalisto wasn't too happy about it. He thought he was going to be able to pull off the win this week. He tells his guys to stay in the back. Please do me a favor, stay back here. I'm going to show you how it's done. But of course the team fails to listen. Shinsuke Nakamura goes to get involved in the match, which prompts the Lucha House Party to come out, get involved, stop Shinsuke Nakamura from interfering, but cause just enough of a distraction for Cesaro to get the roll-up on Kalisto, because the distraction into the roll-up for the win is the only way WWE knows how to book matches, apparently. We've seen about 15 of these finishes in the last 4 shows, and it just shows how unoriginal and uncreative this company has become as a whole. It was just a complete waste of everybody's time. It did nothing for Kalisto. It did nothing for the Lucha House Party. You are continuing to break up a team that is very much needed. Not that they're really anything special, but if you would feature them in a way to make them special and build up the team to be something good, then people would care. But that's not what the WWE does. Adam Pearce, again, see, I told you, he was all over the show. We got more time with him than we got in-ring action. He approached Mr. McMahon. He talked to Mr. McMahon. He says, I got Bray Wyatt's signature. He says, I got Braun Strowman's signature, but not Roman Reigns. McMahon wasn't happy about it. He says, sometimes you gotta just break the door down. Roman Reigns. Then we cut to a segment in the back. We mentioned this a little bit earlier. Alexa Bliss is hanging in the back. She's standing there with Nikki Cross and Tamina for some reason. I don't know why. Tamina's just there to be there. I guess she has, maybe in her contract, she's got obligatory dates and screen time that they have to fulfill. So we'll just stick her in here where she absolutely does not belong. And this is where Alexa Bliss is standing there. She's got her ponytails. Nikki Cross is looking all scared and concerned. She's like, oh, you're wearing your hair like Harley Quinn again. Well, she didn't say that. I'm paraphrasing. But she's like, yo, I haven't seen you like this in a while. And what's up with the braid, Alexa? And she's just like, oh, I thought it was cool. Maybe I should do my whole head. Or maybe I should do one in the braid and one not. And blah, blah, blah. She's giving us all these things she might do with her hair. And this made the world's greatest detective, Nikki Cross, her light bulb's going off. You go, oh, does this mean that you're with the Fiend? It kind of reminds me of the Fiend, to which Alexa Bliss snaps. She takes Nikki Cross's little mug, she smashes it on the floor, and she walks away. And what good is it now? The Fiend needed Alexa Bliss to get the win at SummerSlam. They needed to do something with that at SummerSlam, but you're going to just completely gloss that over and overlook everything and do nothing, and now we're just supposed to, oh, right, Alexa was part of this thing? Absolutely ridiculous. Then in the main event, we had Big E and Heavy Machinery defeating Sheamus, who still looks like he's straight out of the 1930s with his stupid little outfit. Defeating Sheamus and John Morrison and The Miz in an underwhelming six-man tag. We know how we feel about six-man tags. It was definitely poop hammer worthy. The very best thing about this matchup is the fact that they actually gave Big E the win. They made him look good, I guess. He got to pin The Miz to win this matchup for his team. It was okay at best, but Sheamus walked off. Sheamus is pissed at everybody too. Sheamus, one week he's feuding with Baron Corbin. Next week he wants to take on Big E. Then he wants to beat up Matt Riddle. Now he's mad at The Miz and Morrison. Sheamus is all over the place. I don't know what that character is going to do. Maybe if they were smart, they'd take Sheamus and turn him into a babyface, because he does have some crowd support. He can be a good babyface, and we need people to fight the villains, or else we're just a land of villains with no heroes. And at that point, who cares? Who cares? There's nobody there fighting for us. And then the show, of course, ends in the back with Adam Pearce for the final time this evening as he talks to Roman Reigns. The camera pulls back to reveal Paul Heyman as Roman Reigns tells the world, I'm going to win my title back. And that's not a prediction, it's a spoiler. And you can believe that. I couldn't believe anything I seen tonight, from the piss poor quality of the show from top to bottom to this revelation of Paul Heyman being the big dog's advocate, which everybody's automatically sitting at home whacking off about. Oh my God, finally Roman's a heel. This is going to be so good for the business. We'll see. We'll see. At the end of the day, at least in my opinion, Roman Reigns is a character I could have went the rest of my life never seeing again on WWE TV. I was actually getting used to the big dog not being around. It was nice seeing some of the other guys get some attention, even though they were ruining them from week to week. And then it just shows you that right now, that show tonight that we just sat through in the Blunderdome was so unimportant, because the only thing that mattered, especially to Vince, was that last 3 minutes. Because now we're going to get Roman over as a heel. And I guarantee you this, it will not take long for Roman Reigns to turn on Paul Heyman. It will not. Vince is using this to generate interest. He's going to get the belt back on his big dog. And possibly before we even get to Survivor Series, Roman Reigns very well could turn on Paul Heyman and be the babyface guy on SmackDown, still fighting Braun Strowman, still fighting The Fiend, and Big E will have to get to the back of the line. But if they're smart, they'll take this, they'll embrace it, they'll care about it enough to make it interesting, and if they truly remember how wrestling is done, while this new Roman Empire with Paul Heyman is in effect and running roughshod all over the WWE, Big E will be the driving force and the one to build up parallel. So you see the rise of Big E, and you see nobody able to take down the big dog, and that's when you have Big E come in, beat him at WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble or wherever. And Big E becomes the next top guy in the WWE. He can certainly do it. He definitely deserves it. I wish he would tone it down with all the goofball shit. Maybe he will the closer we get to his final coronation, if it ever comes. If it ever comes. All I know is this show, as usual, sucked down as hard as it ever has. And everybody's going to be all over excited about this Paul Heyman thing. And all I want you guys to know is be patient. We'll have to wait and see. And Sunday, for sure, especially now, you could say goodbye to The Fiend. You could say goodbye to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman's already dead in the water. The Fiend still has some power, but once he loses this belt again, it's over. It's over. You might as well just pack it up and call it a day. Take Alexa Bliss with you while you're at it. Maybe JoJo won't mind and you guys can have a nice little menage a trois. Oh my God. Look at what this show makes me think of. Ugh. My God. That was SmackDown tonight. Is it changed anything in your mind? Do you feel like it's going to really make a difference? Of course, I want to know what you guys think. Right before we sat down to record this show, we saw the news. And it's hard to even talk about, but Chadwick Boseman, the guy that played the Black Panther in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a movie that was important to this world for many reasons, broke box office records, broke boundaries in Hollywood. He passed away just a few hours ago, I believe, or earlier today. I didn't even know the man was sick. I didn't even know he was struggling. And apparently he was sick throughout the entirety of everything that he gave us in the MCU as the Black Panther. Being in Civil War, being in his own standalone movie, in Endgame, and Infinity War. And wow, what a fucking rough piece of news that was. This year completely sucks. Inside the world of wrestling and out. It's just been one of the worst calendar years ever. We also lost Bullet Bob Armstrong this morning. That enough was enough to put me off for the day. But I mean, I literally checked my Twitter and I seen that news, and then I had to sit here and pull off this show. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. If you didn't know, the Black Panther has passed away today. It is rough news. I hate it. I hate this year. I hate this so much. He was only 43 years old. I'm going to be 43 years old in September. That's brutal. Anyway, rest in peace to the King. Wakanda forever. Rest in peace also to Bullet Bob. Our thoughts and prayers to everybody's family and friends, to Road Dogg and his friends for their dad. And, of course, to the entire world, mourning the loss together of Chadwick Boseman. And that's how we're going to wrap this up. It's a little somber way to go about it, but I'm figuring if you're still here at 32 minutes, you're a diehard fan and you'll care about what I have to say. If you don't care about what I have to say, you've clicked off a long time ago. And I appreciate every single one of you that watched this video from start to finish. Even if you do it in 2 chunks. If you watch 15 minutes tonight and then finish it up later on, I don't care how you do it, as long as you get to the end. And most importantly, hit that subscribe button to join the coolest, newest faction in the whole entire internet wrestling community that continues to grow day after day. We are creeping up at that 3,000 subscriber mark, and you guys can make it happen right now. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a member of the Sledgehammer Army. Smash that thumbs up if you enjoyed anything we had to say today, because you know you can understand me better than you can understand Vince McMahon, right? So if you can understand me, hit that thumbs up. If you couldn't understand Vince McMahon, hit that thumbs up and let me know that you enjoyed today's show. And then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to understand why these shows are so bad, thanks to Mumbles McMahon. And if you hear that shit anywhere else, just like I'm seeing my Blunderdome being used everywhere else, you know where you heard it first, right here. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team. As always, each and every one of you. If you missed the SmackDown, if you missed the Raw review, this is the SmackDown review. If you missed the Raw review, it's up in the annotations. If you missed the SummerSlam review, it's up in the annotations, and you can check that out immediately following this show. And I thank you for being with me for these last 4 years. It's been incredible, and year number 5 is starting off pretty interesting. Not well, but interesting. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Boom.